Most artists think they need to be harder on themselves, but what if your inner critic was the very thing holding you back? Hi, I'm Saran, and welcome to another episode of The Habit of Art with Saran the Diva Nun. In this video, I'll be giving you 3 tips to help silence your inner critic that's keeping your art practice immobilized. I know what it's like to have a loud inner critic. I'm a Virgo with a Capricorn stellium in my 5th house. For me, perfection isn't an option, it's the only thing I see. And my art practice for so long has been stifled because I want everything to be perfect on the first try. I wasn't able to create freely, I wasn't able to innovate, I wasn't able to try, and I wasn't able to make mistakes. And those are the things that you need to do to be a good artist. And your inner critic is holding you back from stepping into your true power. We all have one. Some voices are louder than others, but it's time we silence that voice for good. If you're like me, then you have mistaken being harsh with being disciplined. And I'm here to tell you that couldn't be farther from the truth. You can be kind to yourself, have compassion, and still have a rigorous artistic practice that doesn't lead you to burnout, that leads you to come to your artistic practice happy and full of joy and excited to tackle another day. I'm telling you right now that compassion will produce more art than shame ever could. Step 1, you must name your inner critic. You could call it the drill sergeant. My therapist prefers to call it the taskmaster, but whatever you name it, make sure that you call it something separate of yourself. Because while that voice is inside your head, it is not you. So often, as artists and creatives, we become over-identified with our thoughts. But your thoughts are not you. You have thoughts. But every thought you have is not you, okay? And so by saying, oh, that's my inner critic saying that noise, that's my taskmaster making that thought, that's my taskmaster saying this is bad, that I should have done X, Y, Z, you're able to see that voice and examine it with a little bit of distance. And honestly, even an inch will help you realize that voice isn't helping you, it's hurting you. The second step, you need to develop a rebuttal practice. Every time a harsh thought enters your brain, I want you to stop and I want you to think of one reason why that's not true, and I want you to write it down. It could be in a journal, it could be in your notes app, I don't care. But you have to get into the practice of rebutting these thoughts because you have been letting these thoughts go unanswered for far too long. And now they're taking up so much space in your head. And we need to fight that. And it's going to be a process. It's going to take time, but it's time that you need to reclaim your artistic practice from your inner critic. Let's say the drill sergeant in your head says, ugh, you can never draw those circles right. You can never draw faces right. I want you to think back to times where you've drawn a beautiful face. Or let's say your inner taskmaster has said, oh my God, you never know how to pose models. Your models are always in the same poses. Think back and say, hey, how have I posed my models? Is that true? Chances are it's not. You have done so much, and your inner critic does not want you to realize that. It tries to keep you in the dark by only focusing on your flaws. But if you take the time to consciously reprogram and to rebut those ideas, you will see that those criticisms, those jabs, those barbs that the drill sergeant is sending you are nothing but smoke, meant to distract you, not meant to help you. Step 3, the final thing that you need to do to destroy your inner saboteur, your inner critic for good, is you need to develop a compassion ritual. Before I start making art, what I like to say is, I am so grateful that I get to write today. I'm so grateful that I get to spend time in the studio today. I am so grateful that I get to go on this trip and make this art today, right? When you tell your brain before you start, right, how grateful and happy you are to do it, you're literally rewiring your subconscious. You're rewiring the neurons, and you're associating making art with positivity, with compassion, with beauty, with gratitude. And when you do that, it makes you more excited to make art. It keeps you on the wheel. Because remember, we want slow, consistent work, not mad dashes filled with long burnout breaks. Another way to show compassion to yourself is at the end of the night before you go to bed, I want you to say, I'm so grateful for the work I did today. I'm so grateful for the steps I took today to be a better artist, even if they're small steps. And especially if you didn't do everything on your to-do list. Because it's better to check something off your to-do list and be thankful for it than to check something off your to-do list and begrudge yourself for it. Because tomorrow, you might not want to do anything at all. The way we speak to ourselves, the way we talk about ourselves, it affects our actions. It affects our well-being. And I want you to be an artist that loves showing up and that takes the pressure off of yourself. For too long, I had too much pressure on myself and I felt like I was drowning. And the only way I stopped drowning was by holding on to the life raft of compassion and doing gratitude and meditating and showing up for myself and being happy and grateful and thankful. I'm curious, what does your inner critic sound like? Sound off in the comments below. And if you had to give it a name, what would you name your inner critic? This has been another episode of The Habit of Art with Saran the Diva Nun. I'm so grateful you stayed. Have a nice day.